team fighting bonanza we had yesterday is that both of these teams can be so insanely explosive. T1 by far the most aggressive team that we have
Kalista
in the
Gnar,
LCK.
Jone.
Going up against TS.
Jo.
If it's a buffet, the team fights are the crab legs, and I'm hoping we're gonna get some.
Ty vole, proč ne Reckless? Pane bože.
By T1, TES on blue side get the luxury of a bit more target banning.
So then we drop down because this is definitely
Jone, Aurora Scanner. To jsou dobrý bany, ale problém je, že prostě na red side tyhle ty 3 bany musíš vždycky bannout, to je hrozný. Ty nemáš žádný ban na red side, ty prostě musíš zabanovat jen Aurora Scanner. Oni pak mají 3 bany, target bany, jako je Gnar, Vi a Kalista a first pick Rumble. Silas Faker.
Which, as we saw in yesterday's series, has basically become absolute top tier blindable mid laner this far into the tournament.
And even though Cream is a very good Ahri, Silas just seems now like it turns into
Draco s Vedus jsou nejlepší 2 kastři. No joke.
Constantly stealing away that ult. So we'll see if they even do respond with that pick in the end for the counter. Meanwhile, T1 still one
Silas.
I would expect something like a Vi, owner's Vi.
Sejuani, okay.
The Sejuani is still up and Vi is banned. So
Proč mi vadí Jet? Nevím, proč mi vadí. Když bych to popsal, tak má humor 50letýho týpka, furt je nějaký hovna, který absolutně nedávají smysl. Předstírá, že té hře rozumí a reálně té hře vůbec nerozumí.
Ball's now in his court. What is he going to pick? What is he going to bring out of Mumu? You know, I feel like
takhle bych to popsal.
Bringing it to the world and the world happy to have it in so many of these tense team fight scenarios.
Ty vole, Cream Tristana. Ajajaj, Cream Tristana. Už jste sledovali LPL, tak Cream Tristana je jeho nejlepší pick. Ivern Rumble Tristana. Joj.
I would like to see another like double AD carry with
Wow.
succeed though.
Wow, Zeus, Camille!
AD carry to come in and then Mako to lead the
Ty
charge.
vole, Zeus tady je big guns, okamžitě. Zeus Camille, kámo. Zeus Camille je insane. To je jak to je normálně jak Bin Jax, tak Zeus Camille. Bude hodně důležité, jak bude hrát Zeus, protože Zeus reálně tenhle ten tým strašně tahá. Když hraje Zeus dobře, tak tým vám vždycky vyhrajou. To je pěkný, ale Tristana je useless, není. Ezreal Poppy. Ash.
So I wouldn't even be surprised when you pair it with this amount of dive, just having an AD carry that can stand in the back, still provide support, and additional setup would really fit with the style that T1 loves to play. On the flip side, we often talk about what is a good Jhin game. When you have the Rumble and what I assume will be an engage support for Mako, the lockdown and combo potential is definitely there.
Debating now what T1 want to pick on 4 here.
Jacob, díky za Prime. Chat, máte Prime v TikTok jednotokeny, většina lidí na to zapomíná. Caitlyn, Gumaruši, Caitlyn Lux, oh můj bože! Oh můj bože! Ale Caitlyn ještě není buffnutá. Caitlyn Lux je Guma, Kerry a jsou nejlepší Caitlyn Lux na světě. No joke. My když jsme skrimovali, když Caitlyn byla meta a hráli jsme proti Caitlyn Lux, tak to nešlo hrát. To se hrálo Caitlyn Lux, Ezreal Karma. To jsme hráli Ezreal Karma, oni hráli Caitlyn Lux, to bylo unplayable. A Ezreal Karma to má vyhrát ten matchup.
Potentially just giving a bit more space for them to debate on what AD they want to go with.
Leona
is locked in now. Incredible combo in the team fight from either side, to be honest, and especially now with Leona locked in, Silas's choice of ultimates is decent in the context of this game. Nothing crazy, no Alistairs, of course.
MF Leona, klasika.
TS reliant on absorbing that initial engage from the T1 top side, turning the fight back in their favor.
Kajsa je horší než MF. MF je good. MF je good proti triple melee a má lifesteal. Může si postavit lifesteal proti Caitlyn Lux.
MF has really struggled. You're also pairing it with the Leona, not the Rel. I think AoE CC is such a big part of what can make the champion work. And Pre-nerfs, I think the laning phase for MF was so oppressive that you can see you go, and obviously there might be a lane
Na Caitlyn nehraješ little tempo.
that it made a lot of sense to pick it just
Bard
as a
by tady
power
byl
pick.
taky v pohodě,
I
hej?
already feel like we've reached that stage
Protože by to
where we've
cancelovalo
seen that
MF
level
ult
of
perma.
performance from the champion thus far.
Oni,
Here it
jo,
was. A
Bard
lot of
pick.
teamfighting power
And
goes
the
there.
Bard is Keria. And we talked about as we
Je to good
speculated, we
proti
said,
MF.
hey, is there room for Keria to continue to innovate on what had been
A
a pretty
může
locked in meta
permaroamovat
in terms
a
of engage
ovlivnit
supports.
mapu.
The Bard coming
Bard
in
je
here
tady
against
hodně dobrý.
highly immobile champions.
Tady je
Yes,
fakt
the
dobrý
Tristana
Bard.
can get out of a lot of
Líbí
sticky
se mi to hodně.
situations. The rest of the members of this TES lineup
Problém je
super
Ivern.
vulnerable to
Problém
that
je
temper
Ivern.
fate.
And the Bard goes a long way with
Ten
helping
je
out the
annoying.
attempted side lane play that
Ale
we do
Bard
expect
bude
from
hodně
this
pomáhat
side,
prostě
Camille
Silasovi.
and
Hlavně
Silas
Camille.
here. It actually
Na
puts so
side lane.
much threat here behind it because you're constantly
Dobře
roaming
to
around,
drafnuli, dobře
looking
to
for these
drafnuli, líbí
ultimates
se mi
to
to.
burn people's flashes and make them more vulnerable targets for Zay's
Faker
Camille
hraje
to
Silase
track
hlavně,
down
to
and
jsme
look for
viděli v
picks.
LCK, že to umí zahrát
Looking at what
furt,
TS
že
is
to je
dropping
furt jako
here,
Faker
the way they
Silas.
won that first game against T1 was by absorbing the initial blow and then counter-engaging. I think that this comp does this
Pěkné,
insanely
pěkné.
well. You have a lot of AoE damage.
Pěkné, pěkné,
meaning
pěkné.
Choke point control is going to be really strong, and the Ivern adds on top of that. And for T1, this is nothing but comfort.
Komu fandíš? Ty vole, komu asi?
That first game because in the beginning of that game, T1
Jak se mě na tohle
really
můžeš vůbec
strong lane
zeptat?
swap. They actually caught 369, got a first blood on him, and had a very big early lead in the game.
Additionally, T1 are set up once again to have a pretty strong level 1 overall. Bard level 1 basically two
Viděl
abilities
jsem
between
snapy
the
o
passive
staríčko
and
a
most
hitpoint, to
likely
bylo
the
to funny.
cosmic binding. Can't allow them to get aggressive, maybe contest if they do want to go for
Ty
the lane
one.
swap. And when you look at
Ty
T1,
on!
one of the best teams
Ty
we've
one.
seen executing and finding leads in these
Hej,
early
já
games.
někde měl
Wouldn't
T1
surprise to see
dress.
them be the ones who pull
Někde
the
jsem měl
trigger.
T1 dress,
At
měl
the
jsem
same
si ho
time,
vzít
Caitlyn
dneska.
Bard in the 2v2,
Ty máš
they're gonna
dost,
have
díky za
either
ty
way it goes.
jedničku. Co je Tome? Není tady někde T1 dress?
One.
Nemáš ho někde? Tak ho najdi, ať ho vemu,
Before
prosím.
we get into it,
Prosím, Tome, najdi mi T1 dress.
level 1 will tell us
Hanem.
so much about how T1 want to leverage their bot lane power.
Najdi ho,
TES
prosím.
navigate if they've found new innovations
Ondřeji,
since the last
prosím.
time these two teams played.
Moment of respite before what I am very certain will be an explosive series, one way or another. Thus far, looks like
Chat,
both
jste na mém
lanes
Discordu,
need
připojili jste se na můj
to
Discord.
slot towards standard lanes, not locked in yet until we get a little bit closer. But right now, neither bot lane moving positions, just holding.
Bude někdy ten
vision
Japer streamoval s
when it's level
tebou,
one.
ne?
And because this might be the last chance you have to be fully on your seat and not the edge of it, I'd be remiss if I didn't say
Nic
to
tam
remember
není,
to
není
log
tam
into
nic,
your
no.
Riot Games account on lowesports.com and
Ale jsou
watch
tam
Worlds
upozornění.
Live during exclusive Worlds
A můžete
with
si tam
iconic
zahrát
capsules.
lolečko
Free
s
stuff for
někým.
watching, you're gonna do it anyway. And this might be the only minute where someone's not killing somebody
Sere
else,
mě ten
so
Cream,
take a chance.
Tristana a Tian Ivern.
Watch, and we'll see where the lanes are going to go. Because this 2v2, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to be very difficult.
Pos.
But now you have a little bit more time, tragically.
Nice.
We'll give you more context on the pause, of course, as we get more information here at the caster desk. In the meantime, no lane swap.
So log into your Riot account, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, log into the Riot account.
That's what this is for?
This is not a scheduled pause, I promise you that much. Hopefully, I think yesterday we had one small peripheral issue, quick resolution. We'll hope for the same today.
So it is interesting here. We're going to have, we at the least know
Mám
that
pořád
owner is
just
going to start
chatting.
on the top side of the map. And we're
Mám
actually
moc
having a wave of
moc
double melee
permaband.
solo laners that you look for in the beginning of
Už
their
ne-
chip
už je League of
select
Legends.
with the Sejuani kind of synergy pairing and trying to look to cover this Caitlyn Bard in their attempts to pressure and push in the enemy lanes, try and deny CS, try and chip away at tower plates. You always are trying to push very early on here and generate some tower plate money with that combination for T1.
Confirming it is a T1 pause. We are getting ready checks in game. So we'll see if we're able
Je
to get
to,
that back on
není
your
to
screen
just
shortly
chatting,
when
je to
the
League of
players do
Legends.
eventually resume.
Co-streamu League of Legends.
And I think the big thing to keep in mind is it's been a long time since we've seen these kind of bot lanes, but we got used to the two range versus two range for so
Sasuke
long.
plus-
But the important thing in this one range, one melee, when you have this engaged support, is
Madze.
if T1's bot lane, as you mentioned, falls behind, loses flashes early, this lane gets so incredibly hard to play because yes, MF is nerfed, yes, Bloodthirster is nerfed, but if she gets an early BT, all of Caitlyn's poke, all of that harass becomes immediately
hrem.
meaningless.
Tome, pojď
Also, I
japovat!
mentioned the Tristana. I don't think the pick has looked that good yet at the tournament. But
Ale
when you think
Tristana
about what should be
do
good
Silase
with the Silas, 80
je
carries
good,
makes
ale je to
sense,
takový,
something that can really bully him early on and try to
že
make sure
Silas
he doesn't just get a
měl by
free
být v
ride to
pohodě,
level
pokud je
6
good.
when the champion really comes online. And the early trades here be big for how this lane goes, as we do have TN setting up his jungle on the diver.
Dajchy, díky šéfe, děkuju.
Really pushing the double range meta for bottom lane. Thinking back to
Overlay.
last year and the amount of success
Jak je overlay?
they got with it. So far, though.
Zeus early level 2 means he's able to take control of the
Nice!
Zeus!
Zeus!
369 smartly waiting out the adaptive defenses, but this is of course where Rumble was nerfed, is that level 1 point. The Flame Spitter are just going to do a lot less work as we see a bit of an all-in here on the bottom side. TS not going to overcommit. They did get the level 2, but don't want to use too many resources.
And look at that, the Sejuani already. You see Owner on the mini map.
Ty vole, divný, že získávají prájo s tou Leona.
And he's dropping.
Immediately going to get the cleanse out from Guma. Carrier trying to trade
Dobré
back.
kvečko, dobré kvečko. Ale reálně prohrávají tu linku, zajímavý. Honor, nice, dobrý invade, dobrý invade. Ale jak když má 11 CS? Když má 11 CS jenom ten Sejuani. Tohle je huge. Mají prájo a invadenou Iverna, tohle je huge. Ivern by nikdy neměl takhle dostat invadenu od Sejuani, jeho pathing je bad. Jo! Zeus! A oni to posrali. Honor posral flash. A Honor to posral. A tohle bylo sick, ale prostě Honor to posral. Zeus to bylo crazy good, ale Honor to posral. Tady kdyby Honor správně flashnul, anebo použil Everfrost, tak tak dali first blood.
2 flashes used from the side of TES.
And while all that action was happening, Guma cleansed, Keria healed, and Jackie used his cleanse as well. And we did see a couple of those trades towards the bot lane, but as expected, both of these players, or all 4 of these players,
bot se bouncuje a Ivern je na botu, Seju taky. A tady je to nepříjemný, že ta Caitlyn zatím nevyhrává vůbec.
There's a way they can find an advantage, they will fight for it, and it won't end up costing them here, while they did have Tian standing behind them, hovering in the bottom side.
Jacob, díky za gifta. Yuki, díky za prima. Však věděli jste, že je tam furt ten Discord promo. Je Discord promo, že když dáte suba nebo giftnete suba, tak dostanete nitro na 3 měsíce. Nevím, k čemu to nitro je, ale vy to budete vědět. Vy jste zoomeři. Keria začne eventuálně roamat a bude to huge. Oj. Tady nemusel flashovat. Nemusel flashovat. Měl prostě jenom utíkat. Prohrávají botlane, to je worrying.
Such a difficult situation to be in. Cream playing with a lot of confidence here, but the sustain from Silent is decent. Carry on the way up.
Dobrý heal.
Nemá
flash! Fakerovi to dejte! Jo! Hej, ale topside hrozně vyhrává T1, protože oni invadenuli Iverna, forceli mu flash, invadenuli mu blue buff a teďka ho zabili, protože neměl flash. Ale botlane prohrává, no. AD. 2-1.
And it ends up being the big difference maker here as he gets spotted walking back, trying to steal those Raptors on a ward.
He put up the brush there to get some vision for himself, but then there's no way you can finish that channel as Owner came over the wall. And Faker here does have to blow his flash after going for this trade onto Cream. But then once Keria arrives, Owner's able to hit. And because of the early invade that they played off of Zeus'
Dobré.
there was no
Ty vole, jaká
flash on
T1 win,
Ivern, and
hashtag
they
T1
cash
win.
in on the first blitz. Get back to live
Yo!
though, because the grubs as well are being taken.
T1 reset looks like they were able to get first setup on Grub, shifting
Dojde Tomáš, nevím.
the top side of the map. And again, we're seeing a very similar story to
Teďka
the
se
first
zbudil a
time
snídal, tak já nevím.
T1 incremental advantage
Eventuálně jo.
1,000 cuts in the early game as they continue to take a little bit here, a little bit there. Now a kill, some summoner spell.
Ten Silas s first bloodem je huge. Protože ta Tristana musí vyhrát hodně early game a ono to není zas tak jednoduchý vyhrát early game proti Silasovi, protože on si veme prostě 2 potky a last to SC.
Zeus might be in some trouble here.
Has the hookshot on the wall dive.
No flash.
369 does have his as well as the
Ever nemá flash? Dobrý, šel za miniona, výborně. Výborně.
He still has 2 cookies.
Yeah, his wave was in a little bit of a rough spot, so the timing there was quite nice for Tien, but Zeus, good use of the passive there. Procs it, then gets his hook shot away, calmly walks
On má
out
fleet
of
vzor na Caitlyn,
danger.
ok, zajímavé.
I feel a little bit bad for TES.
No to je
in that
nerfnutý,
Mako
ne, ten
had
fleet.
been the one to actually start out the good play, you know, burning Guma's flash, but then the chain of events still going the way of T1. And they really managed that situation quite well with
Má
Guma
attack
immediately
speed boty, aby
resetting,
byl
going
víc
to the top
safe,
side
protože
and
nemá
getting an
flash.
objective for themselves after them being the ones that got their extra
Tři
summoner
gruby a
spell
ještě si
burned
Soul
in the
nese
2v2,
Johnny
and now on the flip side, T1
Draka.
reset
Ej,
again,
Oner hraje
and
tu
they're
se
gonna
Johnny,
get the
nebo
dragon as well.
Oner je
They
reálně
keep on
jeho nejlepší
doing the
champion se Johnny.
objectives here.
Camtech Drake means as well that the average value of the souls is going to go up slightly there. Do want to note the gold lead still very manageable. NTS is sitting on double call, so once those are going to cash out, it's going to swing it back in favor of them as wave is being
Bacha faker na midu, baška, oni to potřebují zabít. Takhle jak hraješ a scaluješ je výborný.
Faker and Guma are the two ones.
Jenom bacha na dive. Bacha na dive od Leony. Má flash? Škoda. To chcete jak divenout toho Rumbleho? Kamo, co dělají? Co dělají? Jak to chtěli divenout? Tak tohle je mega weird.
A hope, a dream, the flash as well, maybe a bit ambitious. Mako! He doesn't know!
Oni neví. Hafo.
The genius play!
Jo, tak tohle bylo sick.
Secret agent Zeus!
Jo. Tak to bylo crazy good. Ale proč se snažili divenout Rumbleho s ninja tabama?
Oh, it was a disaster.
Owner went down and that was a big play from 369, getting the extra cash there, defending
Jako
the
Rumble je full HP
On
ninja
one
taby a
hand,
oni se
T1
snaží.
knew that the mid lane play was happening, so
A
they wanted to try
Keria
and
neroumuje
counterplay.
vůbec.
But 369
Jsem
also
čekal,
didn't
že
have
Keria
his
bude
ultimate,
hodně roumovat
but
na
they
tu
just
Kamilu.
didn't have the damage
Že
this
bude
early
jako
on.
gankovat Kamil furt. Ale oni je hodně jako hitou pláty a tak.
Gold T1, he constantly gets eliminated the last couple years by T1. He has Zeus in his mind, so it could be a very big, you know, mental play there. Having an extra kill on the Rumble will come up huge. It's a champion
Jaký
that
ninja
in the
taby.
mid-game really has great potential to turn team fights, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Meanwhile, for the T1 side, they've done a very good job being very proactive in moving the Caitlyn around the map, constantly trying to shift over to the open tower so you can push in and try and get turret plate money.
To, co udělal Zeus, bylo úplně insane kvůli tomu, že to bylo split second decision a avoidnul strašně dobře vizi a ve waveu, že jo. Proč zaužil Caitlyn tak Tristanu takhle? Na pouk, ale je to zbytečný. Kdyby měl first strike, tak se to dělá. S first strikem. Na goldy. Oh. Faker začíná štípat. Teďka už začíná vyhrávat proti Tristaně od levelu 9-10 nějak. Tak tady ty trady vyhrává. Tristana potřebuje, Silas je silnější v midgameu než Tristana a ona potřebuje scalovat Tristana. Ty vole, pozor. Zatím nesmajtnul je prvního, smajtnou druhýho, nesmajtnou. TP. 4 gruby. No, jako... No, s 5 grubama by to bylo insane pro Caitlyn. Teda Caitlyn Kamil, no. Ale 4 jsou taky fajn.
Those extra grubs can make a really big difference in how quickly you can push down. And this, I think, is the problem. Like early Camille, the wave play just isn't really there.
Ale 2 typíčka, no musí to teďka využít nějak, že mají TP advantage. Mají, takže třeba Kamil by měla fightit Rumbleho 1v1 a Silas by měl týpnout a ganknout ho jako víš, že prostě Kamil zautí Rumbleho, zatímco dává TP Silas a tím ho zabijou.
Look at this hover play from T1. Well, now with the sweeper, they are spotted out, but Keria and Owner had come to hover Faker.
Tak, Bard začíná roamovat hodně, ale
Forward goes down like
Leona to mačne a nebude to velký problém. Bart bývá problém, když třeba AD může 1v2 hrát linku a Bart roamuje. Dívej, tady třeba TP teďka zaultit Rumbleho a týpnout s tím Silasem. Potom co Silas veme top wave. To by bylo super. To by byl play, který bych chtěl, aby udělali. Dívej. Oni možná čekají na draka a udělají to na draka. Nedělají to. Odchyt, flash, trap, ne.
Ulti coming in from the Caitlyn. Ult comes out.
Dvě flashe, nice.
Fishing a little bit.
Tohle je
They
pěkný.
the flash of Jackie Love, which will be big in the fight to come.
Already the carrier.
Tohle je dobrý, dva flashe. Teďka drak druhý.
The main goal is to get summoner spells with it. And you mentioned Chronicler in Champion Select. Misfortunes in general have had a very tough time this tournament in being able to even look for areas to get their full channel off. Now with no flash, Jackie has to be so careful with his positioning.
And I mean, basically every single champion on the T1 lineup can just cancel that MF ulti. Guma probably the only one who can't do it quick enough for it to matter. So the perfect placement, the execution from TES has to be flawless. Bloodthirster going to make it a lot easier for Jackie Love to stay healthy, to keep pressure up in these lanes. But thus far,
oni druhého draka vemou, oni to nemůžou kontestit Tes, protože nemají dva flashe. Což je nice. 4 gruby, 2 draky, jenom zatím prostě skrz dobrý timingy. Kamil scaluje. Kamil začne vyhrávat proti Rumblemu za chvilku. Tak za 3 levely, 3-4 levely a začne Kamil vyhrávat podle mě proti Rumblemu.
See how the teams are able to use it.
I love it. The zoom map here.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to even further accelerate T1's map movements later into the game. And of course,
Kamil nevyhrává na Trinity. Ještě. Potřebuje ještě Magic Resist. Trinity a Magic Resist nějaký. Protože Liandry se balanced.
And let me remind you, 369 versus Gen G was the matchup where his Rumble constantly got picked off in the side lanes and people were very, very critical of it. So we'll see if TES can avoid
Heraldovič, ten by byl dobrý, protože by pak breakli mid lane, mid turretu, ale to budou contestit už. Ale nemají ult na MF, ale teda flash na MF Leona. Tohle by asi mohlo být zase free objective. Nebo vyhrávající fight, tady oni jsou silní celkem. Mají first itemy. Tady si myslím, že jako T1 jsou hodně silní, pozor. Leona to hitla Barda, dávají všechno na Barda, Bard přežívá. Tohle je free. A nemají 2 ultimátky. Nice. Proč šli na Barda, když má Mercs? To bylo dost divný od té Leony. Teď mají Heralda a oni resetnou a dají Heralda na mid. A breaknou tier 1 mid, což je důležitý, protože to otevře strašně moc vize. Mid tureta je nejdůležitější, tyhle ty sideline turety jsou useless. Ale v momentě, kdy breakneš tu tier 1 mid, tak ty můžeš vardit tady okolo tady toho midu, ty můžeš vardit tady a tady, jak ukazuju. Kámo, Silas začíná být takový jako... Víš, že tady zavardíš a pak máš strašně vize. Tristana hitne Chaos Spike za chvilku. Nevyužili to double TP, ale hej. Škoda, že tam jako netýpnuli na toho Rumbleho, nezabili ho. Caitlyn shutdown je fakt divný, no je no. Oni to mají, ty shutdowny se musí reworknout. Je to hrozný, ty shutdowny.
But in the interim, while we're waiting, it just feels like TES's ability to respond to T1 is so muted.
What we do need to address though is that, as mentioned, as expected, the gold lead basically has become even thanks to those cold.
MF má prostě 400 goldů advantage, víc CS a nemá shutdown a Caitlyn má. To je blbost. Kdo má lepší late game? Vyrovnané podle mě. Mají lepší sideline se Zeusem. Vidíš, on ještě prohrává. Už má Magic Mercy boty, ale ještě prohrává. Oni ani nedají Heralda na mid-turretu, tak to je super. Nice, tak to je hodně good. Dávat všecko na Leonu, to je sus. A to posrala! Posrala to! OK. Tipi. Trap. Cancelled. Dobrý. Hej, T1 hrajou hrozně clinical. Víte, co to znamená clinical? Hrozně jakoby prostě safe, čistě. Vemou ty jedničku, ale oni typli na top lane, aby tradeovali. To je dobré toto. Oni by ho tam diveli na botu. Někdo by měl resetnout a jít na to na bot lane. Rumble nemá TP actually. Tohle je dobré.
Turret trade ends up going in favor of T1.
And this is so frustrating for TES. T1 are so slippery. Every time it feels like they've stayed maybe one extra wave. You can see Mako's just chasing, just running, but we're a second away from another magical journey.
Oni chcou resetnout. Oni jim cancelou resety, Tes se snaží hrozně cancelovat resety, aby neměli draka zadarmo. Protože tady, kdyby nedali cancel resetů, tak mají draka zadarmo.
Want to highlight as well that the fight we saw there with T1 trying to engage and then Mako catching most of it and then the counter mage is I think how TS wants most of the fights to look. The issue is for that to really be a consistent
Fakt divný, že Caitlyn má od goldu shutdown, no.
And with how T1 have been moving around the map and generally been ahead of the play, it can be quite hard. This time though, for this dragon, they have the ideal setup. Mid-wave pushed out, everyone is in position, and this
tady
is
jim
where
nechají
the
draka,
entrenched
no.
Ivan can be really hard to root out.
Tady jim nechají draka a prostě pušou. Tady by měli jít top side a zkusit zít tier 2 top. Keria tam může jít dát ten Demolish. Tohle je výborná rotace od T1, ale nestíhají to. Jenom Keria tam musí dát ten Demolish. Hodně se snaží, ale nepustí ho. Nepustí ho. Eventuálně to dostanou, ale těch 700 goldů tam. Třeba teďka budou muset zase matchnout Fakera, Faker movne up. Dívej, Faker, kde mám Epic Pen. Faker teďka pushne in, movne na mid a oni pushnou na top lane ve 4. Dívej, tohle je úplně krásná rotace. To je normální úplně, to je úplně nádherná krásná rotace, kdy Faker tady pushne, jde na mid a mid lane jde na top. Ale zase se jim to nepovedlo. Teďka Faker by měl jít zpátky na bot, oni by měli jít zpátky na mid, v momentě, kdy Faker zase pushne, tak můžou zase zkusit na top. Hodně to zkouší.
It is up to Mako. Mako, the big playmaker, the veteran here. One of many, but he's the one with the big useful tools on the Leona.
And look, he's on Bloodsong. He knows his job. They have to kill one of these priority
Objedej kafíčko, nechci
in
tohle.
that first fight, Keria walked away from a full channel and outfall that did not finish him. But with 2 items completed, I don't think that's going to be the case anymore.
Mako just clearing vision. Making sure
jako tobě kafe můžu objednat, ale já neobjednám kafe, já nechci kafe.
The poking and prodding continues. Everyone on the way here from TES. This turret stands for now.
No nevím, hoši.
Can't just poke, has to be willing to commit to the fight, but TES, 5 members here immediately going to tear through that tower. The power of the Tristana. T1 backing up, knowing that they have Faker on a side lane.
Yep, just keep trading. Faker going to get the last outer turret that TES had held on to.
Teďka on veme bot turret za top turret, což je mnohem lepší pro T1, protože oni Faker dostane solo goldy, zatímco oni shareovali goldy na top lane. To je mnohem lepší pro Fakera, nebo pro T1 všeobecně. A teď tady ta hra bude stalemate do té doby, než bude třetí drak, a nebo když padne tady ta turret. Teď Tes si musí nebo Tes si hodně dobře uvědomujou, je to vidět, že tady ta tier 2 nesmí padnout. A dělají všechno pro to, aby to defli. Jo? To vidíš, že prostě ta hra je pomalá, protože oni prostě ví, normálně některé ty týmy by to nevěděli, nechali by tu tier 2 padnout, třeba Fana. A bylo by to over. Ale tady prostě Tes dělají všechno, co můžou, aby to defli.
Already skills insanely well with levels will make it a really strong 2-item spike. IE now done for Guma as well. Was a little bit behind on Jackie. And he has obviously pretty expensive item and the tension still building here. We haven't had
Proč je tak důležitá? 700 goldů. Když někdo z těchto solo lanerů dostane 700 goldů, tak začne vyhrávat hru. 700 goldů je tak strašně velký income pro ty lidi, že pro ty side lanery, že to ovlivní celou hru. Trap. Oh, jej, Zeus! MF ult, mysnutá? Nebo Oner přežije? Přežije, ne? Dobrý flash. Tady začínají štípat. Ne. Oner má 2 itemy, Randuins, to je dobré. Randuins je důležitý proti double AD. Tohle padne. Dívej, Zeus jde pro to! Zeus to veme! Zeus, pojď, vem to! Tohle je huge! Zeus to zahrál výborně! Zeus prostě věděl, že to padne. Nice, 700 goldů, tohle ovlivní ten matchup hrozně. Oni byli všichni na midu a Zeus to tady tak sneaknul, protože dívej na tu vizi. Vize. Mají to tam rozsvícený jak vánoční stromeček, takže ví přesně, kde vize je není a šel tam, ani to nevěděli a teďka Zeus získal 700 goldů. A má 2 itemy, Sterak, Trinity Force. Teďka, podle mě, už začne vyhrávat proti Rumblemovi. A teď třetí drak. Tady to, co udělali, že overextendili pro tady tu tier 1 docela posrali Tes. Že teďka díky tomu můžou mít T1 kontrolu kolem draka. A ještě vzali tier 2. T1, to be fair, T1 udělali mega dobře, že tu tier 1 drželi tak dlouho. Kdyby ji pustili o něco dřív, tady je to fakt... Kdyby oni to pustili o něco dřív, třeba o 30 vteřin, tak Tes mají kontrolu nad drakem. Ale T1 kvůli tomu je, že to drželi tak dlouho a že Tes nebacknuli a forcnuli tu tier 1, tak teďka prostě T1 mají fakt dobrou pozici. Jediný, co je problém, je, že začínají být silní, jo? Jakože 2 itemy a jsou tyhle silný, ale Caitlyn má taky 2 itemy.
See Zeus on side, know that they have the 4v4, feel confident that they win it, run straight to mid, clear that wave. Now they have their access in, knowing T1 are going to be forced to catch that.
T1 nemají flashe na Honorově na Zeusovi. Jackie Love nemá flash. Zabít Daisy, nice, to je dobré, to je mega dobré, že ji zabili. Zeus, dívej, level 14 Zeus to tady teďka kvůli tomu museli backnout. Z té pozice museli pryč, protože Zeus tady pressuruje. Tohle by měl být free drag. Třetí free drag a fuck off. Dobrá ult Sejuani, dobrá Bard ult, aby prostě vzali, aby nemohli nic, trapky setupnutý a mají prostě clean macro game, teďka někdo musí tohle. Tes teďka jsou na straní a chcou to forcenout, ale jestli forcenou tohle, tak prohrajou, podle mě. Tohle by Barona by neměli forcovat. Ale nemají 2 ultimátky, Sejuani nemá ult, Bard nemá ult, ale... Takže MF, někdo musí cancelnout MF ult. Někdo musí dát... Aj tohle ne, tohle je moc brzo. Šli moc brzo in. T1 šli moc brzo in. Tady T1 udělali velkou chybu. Baron byl 10 000 životů a oni šli in. Oni měli schválně proti tomuhle Baronovi. Tenhle Baron je zrovna Baron, který dává hrozně velký AoE damage a redukuje hrozně magic resisty. Tady měli udělat to, že tady čekají tady a čekají, až Baron bude třeba 6k a pak jdou fightit. Neměli vizi. Když viděli, že to je 10k, tam dali Blue Trinket. Oni viděli toho Barona. Viděl jsem, že vidí, že mají 10k. Viděl jsem, že to viděli.
Also, Ivern shielding, the risk of starting it is just not there.
Exactly, you can tank it for days.
Caitlyn potřebuje Rapid Fire a LDR, aby byla jako silnější než MF. MF je teďka silnější kvůli ult. Ale zase Bard, když bude si nechávat ult na cancel MF ult, tak to je MF useless.
You highlighted it earlier, Hextech Soul, the most, I'm going to say the most devastating of the game.
It is nuts.
Kam jdeš?
It is very strong.
Co?
Not something you want to give to a team that is so happy to split up the map.
Jsi zoběnul kafe?
So happy to take these isolated 1v1s as Zeus goes for just a bit of an extra.
Dívej, Kamil už začíná vyhrávat. Tady to bude problém, ta Kamil. Kamil bude problém. Level 14, jak jsem říkal, už je level 15, tak začne být prostě velký problém. Ty levely jsou strašně důležitý na té Kamil. A ona eventuálně začne... Bard tam běží. Bard tam konečně běží. Bard využívá tohohle a ty tady můžou divenout. Tohle je huge, ale oni ho viděli. A oni ho viděli, ale vemou tier 2. Tohle je huge. Typujou. Mají TP. Ej, nevím. Teďka je to dobrý start. OK, Bard zaultil, aby měli větší čas. TP od toho. Tady mají dobrou pozici, ale T1. Dobrou pozici T1. Tady je to, stačí backoffnout, nefajtit. T1 už, Zeus má 700 goldů zase, nefajtit. Tohle nevím, jestli chceme fajtit. O, dobrá Rumble ult. Výborná Rumble ult. Dobrý choke. MF ult, špatná MF ult, tady vyhrává T1, úplně stompujou. A Keria flashnul trošku moc brzo. Faker! Má Zoniu. Gumajuši musí a flashne, ano, výborně, Gumajuši, výborně. Jo! T1 is back! Ty pičo. Clean makro, clean team fighting. Strašně dobrý body language. Oni vybody languageovali ty enemy do tako špatného choku. MF ult byla úplně... Dodgeli MF ult, nenechali se nabejtit do choku. Tohle bylo huge. Oni body languagenou s Bardem a s Kamil, body languagenou ten tým do tady toho choku a pak do toho choku nejdou, protože ví, že tam je MF ult, MF zaultí, oni dodgenou MF ult a pak to reengagenou z jiné strany. Tady by Fnatic běhli tady do 5. Tady by Fnatic takhle běhli do 5-man MF ult. Tady by byla MF, ta byla MF ult. Sleduj. Body language ve hře, ano, funguje to. Normálně se tomu tak říká. Zeus tady body languageuje s Bardem. Sleduj to, jak jsou úplně v prdeli. Tady dostanou do choku, engagenou z choku. V momentě, kdy MF ulti, dívej, jak jdou back. Jak jdou oba dva back. Respektujou ten choke MF ult. A tady bylo strašně důležité, že Guma šel in, že dal porta. Ne, Bard mu tam dal portal, aha, hej, Keria je insane. Tohle je dobrý force od Tes, to je dobrý force od Tes. Reálně. Bard ult, výborná Bard ult, pane bože, Keria. Pane bože. Tohle byl dobrý force od Tes, ale. Oni už tu hru prohráli, kdyby tohle. Oni ta hra byla lost. A tady to mohli, tady to byl risk. Risk it all. A... Hej, ty vole, T1 vypadá fakt scary docela. Ale Tes není tak dobrý čínský tým. Tes není tak dobrý čínský tým. Ale Keria to hrozně posmurfil tam. On prediktnul tam prostě, tady prediktnul portál, aby dal Caitlyn portál, aby pak Caitlyn flashla over the wall. Aby nemusela jako kdyby... Aby joinila ten fight, který potom vyhraje, že jo? Protože už má dobrý build.
And look magnificent.
Okay, like I really want to.
Tohle je absolute cinema.
It was not just the meta. Okay, they were on the ISO Faker miss shuffles on Azir. The fact that this team, at least in this first game, is able to showcase something that they didn't do for the entirety of summer.
Absolute cinema.
Mind-boggling.
Zeus is even having fun. Parkour there at the end with the blast cone, just showing off the Camille hook shot. But here's another look at the Baron. And DS are forced into a bad spot. They know they have to just try and burn. Keria delays so long with the Bard ult. But look at this, as they can't burn it down quick enough, and so T1 press in for the team fight. Owner's even able to get the smite here, as there was an early one from the side of TES, and they just chase down all the extra kills. The real critical point, of course, was the previous Baron fight.
Of course.
And that put TES in such a rough position. And they chased them all down.
And again, that's a desperation move, but if they don't do that, they lose
Ale
soul
tak Kamil to
anyway, so they
potom,
had
to, že
to
vzala
take that
700
Hail
gólů
Mary,
na
but
topu
T1
a 700 gólů na botu, to bylo
Triple in it. Baron is still up for another
taky hodně
minute.
důležitý. Tady je to už lost, jo, tady už nemůžou nic dělat. Tady je prostě clinically u smrtí.
T1 sights on the objective, now taking the fight as well. T1 from start to finish in control of this game. One or two small hiccups, but they've been taking over thus far. Jackie trying to turn it back. A decent
trošku
ultimate,
to
but the Nexus
přehnali, ale...
exposed. T1 don't look for the
A
fight
Faker.
anymore. Happy to just take the game.
Clinical.
And TES
Clinical.
in this first game took a big gamble. They picked
Clinical.
away